Okay, great. Hello. Johnson from Wisconsin, Dirty Half Dozen Mining Company. What do you do in winter when you got gold fever? Buy some gold? Gold nugget sales. Can't wait to get into this. But I think I'm going to save that for a later day. Right now, we're going to do some Wisconsin gold. Honey. It's been around forever. Golden nectar from the earth, from the gods, wherever it might have came from. It's something from nature, as is gold, so it's got some similarities. This was as precious as gold back in the Egyptian times, and long before that, they say gold's been around for 130 million years. The oldest fossilized bee they found was over 80 million years old. They kind of got derived from wasps, and wasps started eating on a lot of pollen, and then some of them turned to bees. So you still have bees, you still have wasps, and it's been around in use longer than gold has. So what we're going to do today is show you how we extract the honey from the comb. Now this is what they call capped honey. This can pretty much last forever. The only thing that will contaminate it is if it's uncapped and it gets moisture. Water will damage your honey. They found honey in Egyptian tombs that was over 3,000 years old. Yeah, 3,000 years old, and they say it was still edible. Pretty crazy. A lot of honey used for medical reasons too. I just used some when I lobbed off a piece of my thumb. Manuka honey. I think it was some amazing stuff. But let's get right into it. We're just going to do a little bit here, one frame from one of our hives. The average hive has 60,000 to 80,000 bees, and they travel quite a far distance to produce this honey. They say for every pound of honey, it takes the bees 55,000 miles of traveling. 1 pound of honey. That's pretty insane. Hopefully they don't use diesel because that's really expensive now. But so the process is, we got, for all you miners out there that like gold, I'm not sure what mesh this is, but I know there's some flour gold in here because when I talked to Dave, he said he was going to put some in there to make it a little more difficult for me. But we're using it to strain the capped honey. We also have a spinner here. After we take the caps off the frames, we put the frames, 4 of them, into our spinner, and that's when we're going to spin that out, and I'll show you that. So let's. Okay, back at it again. The phone rang. Always does that when you don't need it to. So let's start by trying to get some of these caps off this honey here. This one's going to be pretty easy. As you can see, the comb goes beyond the frame. So it's pretty easy to cap honey like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set it down on this screener here. And just try to take off the outside cap. And we're going to let that sit in this classifier for you gold people. And get some of this Wisconsin gold out of these frames here. This side's working great. Okay, that's capped. So the honey's all exposed. Finger licking good. Colonel Sanders would say. Now this side's going to be a little more difficult. Let's see what we can do here. You can also take a fork and scratch your honey. That doesn't seem to work as good. Bring this hive into the house, minus the bees. This is what we take off the hive after the summer. they still have a couple boxes of honey for their winter feeding still in the hive. Let's see, so this time I think I'm just going to score it. This is where it's kind of a real pain. But it don't matter, all this honey will drain off this cap. We'll catch all of it. They make a scratcher also. They use a fork. When you have things like this happen. And all that coming off there is kind of like part of the beeswax. Make some candles and whatever else you want to make out of that. So it might look sloppy, but don't fret. It'll spin right out of there. It's already starting to ooze down. So we're going to put it in the spinner here. That's sometimes a little bit tricky. Take the covers off. We'll get 4 in each spinner. Put the head some out first. Going. I'm gonna shut the camera off and get this thing filled. Well, I was telling you I was gonna get this ready to spin, but I seen this thing up here. This thing's loaded. You can get 60 to 120 pounds of honey out of one single hive. That'll keep you quite busy. But these are great to have. We never have problems with getting stuck. I'll have some pictures in my video of my dad training me how to add bees to a hive. We went back there with nothing. No bee suit, no smoke machine. He said, don't worry about it. So we did it. I was terrified. I can't really mention what he said to me. He says, but bees don't like, so don't worry about getting stung. So I guess I'm not that sweet. But look at that. So it could be a little dangerous with me cutting towards my face. I'm a trained professional. That's why I lobbed the end of my thumb off. It's okay. Look at that. That's a lot of honey. If your honey ever crystallizes on you, you can put your honey container in some hot water and let it sit in there for a while. And after about an hour or two, the crystallization will be gone. It doesn't go bad that way. The only way honey goes bad is if you contaminate it by introducing water to it. So, but if your honey is stored properly, yeah, it lasts forever. That's what they say. There's some conflicting reports on how long it lasts, but if the Egyptians packed some away 3,000 years ago and you can still eat it, that's a good sign. Okay. Well, the honey is down in the tub. You set the frames on it with the nipple side. It goes on the edge of the frame to the outside. Otherwise, it'll spin out on you. You take your glass over it. Set out a little wobbly. I put my knees around it. to go very fast. Sometimes when your honey is colder, it takes a little longer. You're best off just going longer at medium speed. Try to go too fast, this thing's like an unbalanced tire. It'll get out of control. It can be fun sometimes. I already spun the other side of these. When you stick them in, all the honey from the outside of the comb facing the tub will spin out. You gotta pull the frames out, spin them around, do the same on the other side. So much lighter. So you can see all that beeswax on there. It's perfectly okay to leave that just like that unless you want to scrape that wax off and use it, but the bees will recycle this. So less work for the bees the better, because 55,000 miles for a pound of honey is a long ways to go. Well, I'll get the rest of this spun out, and then I'll show you how we filter it. Okay, this frame is already spun, so I like to put all the frames back. And there's actually a little bit of honey I didn't get, but that's okay. The bees will take care of that. They'll be happy. It'll be like finding a shiny piece of AU, which is gold. Wisconsin's golden nectar. So this is what you do if you live in Wisconsin and you can't take care of your gold fever. You get the next best thing that Mother Nature offers. It's golden honey. They both play an important part in our world. Okay, so this will be out. We'll put it back in the barn, and then next spring we'll set it right on the hive. And we'll clean that all up. So let's take a look in here, see what we got for honey. Then I'm going to do a ROI for you pater people. You kind of know what that means. Let's take a look here. Okay, so that needs to be strained yet. So let's get to that. Be back shortly. Okay, here's where all the fun begins. It's kind of like getting the flower gold out. This takes a little while. Loosen up your hatch here. And let it begin. This is going to take some time, so I'm going to do it in stages. Maybe I should start. Well, no, we'll wait. Don't want to mix the two together. But gold is gold. It looks chunky like that because all the pieces of the capping and the wax. And that's what this strainer is for. Strain out all the little chunks and impurities. Well, there's no impurities. It's hive is sanitary. It's got high bacterial properties that eat a lot of bad bacteria, leave the good bacteria. Really good for wounds. Look up Manuka honey for medical burns and wounds. You'd be surprised. I just had a very good experience with it. I was amazed. Made me think of spinning this honey out and making a YouTube video. One, because I got gold fever, can't go gold mining, which is a great thing to do. Well, here's the part where my dad is showing me how to put bees in a hive. Had a couple new hives. Them are what they call 3-pound boxes with 1 queen. The metal can there is inside that cage that we pull out, and that's the opening to pour the bees in the hive. Just pour them in. No bee suit, no net, no smoke, just dump them in. I was petrified. He said, don't worry about it. So he listens to my father, God rest in peace. He says something to me about why the bees aren't stinging me, so listen closely. You might get a chuckle out of it if you can hear it.
Just worry about getting stung.
Just because you said that.
No. We're just getting a little wild right now. I didn't come down. You want to stand by the beehive?
Okay, this is the end result. And this weighs 14.50 pounds. That's out of one medium super. A super is this box right here. That's medium size. Usually get 3 of them. So this hive would have produced. This one wasn't all the way full. There was a couple that was a little shy. It should be about 20 pounds in there, but it produced about 14 and a half. So if the other two are that way, we're going to be looking at 42 pounds of honey. So $150 for the bees. Honey at 42 pounds at $10 a pound is $420. So that's a pretty good ROI. Well, enjoy your golden day.